Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be watching Home Alone. It was released in 1990. It is written by John Hughes and directed by Chris Columbus. The film stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, Catherine O'Hara, and John Candy. An 8-year-old troublemaker, mistakenly left at home alone, must defend his home against a pair of burglars on Christmas Eve. Joining me for this rewatch of Home Alone is one of my co-hosts, Vikash, and we also have the host of the Real Lovers podcast joining us, Marley. I will drop all of his info in the episode description so you can go check out his social channels, his podcast, and yeah, go give him a follow. Now, I'm going to be watching the 4K copy I have of Home Alone, but it is currently available to stream on Disney+. You can also rent it on Amazon for $4, on Apple TV for $4, and on Fandango at home for $4. I say we get things kicked off. We're going to be pressing play on Home Alone, and I hope you do as well. In 3, 2, and 1.
20th Century Fox, R.I.P.
You know who created the Fox fanfare, right?
Who?
John Williams.
Oh, okay. I'm stupid.
Oh,
So, if y'all haven't listened to the new documentary music about John Williams, must
I haven't
recommend.
yet. It's on Disney+, right?
Yeah,
It's
fantastic.
my
Put it
boy
this
Stevie
way.
Spiel's in that.
It is so good that my buddy watched it, and then he told his orchestra, like he works at a school, he's a teacher. He told the orchestra teacher about it, and then when the orchestra teacher was out, they played that in class. Like
Really?
this is like within the last couple weeks.
That's great. I mean, John Williams wasn't even the original composer for this.
Yeah, he was a composer halfway through, or there was a different composer halfway through.
Because I think
Uh,
there was
he
what
dropped
they
out.
had. There's some posters that have the original composer on. They're like kind of like
Yeah,
pretty rare now to find.
but then
I can't even
John,
imagine him doing this movie without a John Williams score because it's so like
Exactly.
iconic. It's so Christmassy
John Williams.
too.
There we go.
Mhm.
But see, that's the thing. Like he watched the movie and then he said yes. And that's the thing about John. No matter what he's done, he always. I mean, besides like I guess Indiana Jones and like Star Wars, he does watch the movies.
Yeah.
And then he brings the
This is pre Jurassic Park, so
Roger Gosnell. I'll talk about him later, the editor. But this movie, that the outside of the house, I didn't realize it till recently that I was rewatching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and it is John. I think Steve Martin's house at the end of the movie. It's the same house.
it's the same house.
And they just
they just redid
John
it.
Hughes,
Might as
man.
well.
So Chris Columbus during the
Classic.
commentary for this
Mhm.
movie spends so much time talking about John Hughes, and
Mhm.
the man is just an
I was
icon.
listening to the
and-
commentary today. Good commentary, really good.
Yeah, fantastic. It's Macaulay Culkin and Chris Columbus in about 2007.
2007, yeah. Which is weird
I
that
think-
they made that almost 18 years after the movie, and now listening to that commentary, I was like, wow, this commentary is almost 18 years old.
Yeah, I know.
I was just like,
And they were
Jesus
joking
Christ.
at the end. They're like, "Hey, we might make another one in another 18 years."
Yeah,
I think Christopher Columbus is a really interesting director just because when you watch some of his movies kind of like back like they're obviously really good, but I don't obviously like think Christopher Columbus is like an all-time director, but when you actually like do like
Oh.
a retrospective on it, he has some heavy
I mean, he-
hitters. Like Harry Potter
created
probably wouldn't
Harry
be a
Potter.
thing if
Yeah,
it
Harry
wasn't
Potter
there.
1, 2.
yeah.
Mrs.
Home Alone 1, 2, Goonies
Mhm.
script.
I mean, we're
Oh,
missing
he
the
wrote the
real
Goonies
one.
script?
We're missing
Yeah.
the real one in Adventures in Babysitting. Now that's top tier. Chris Columbus.
Okay,
I
so
love.
I
that
learned
movie.
this recently. Pat, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie is Christmas Vacation.
Chevy Chase was being so terrible. Chris Columbus literally said he was treating me like dirt. So he left
Oh, yeah. He's
working
an
on that
asshole.
movie. I know. And he left working on that movie early to come and work on this one.
Mm,
So thank you for Chevy
yeah.
Chase for being such a terrible human being.
terrible.
We
but,
got
I mean,
this fantastic movie.
Chevy Chase just asshole, but his comedic ability was just insane. Like every time I watch
So-
Christmas Vacation, I just die
Yeah.
laughing.
Uh,
I don't
This
think
is,
I've seen Christmas Vacation.
you might like it actually. National
I
Lampoon's
feel like
Christmas
yeah.
Vacation. Yeah.
That was like my family's Christmas Eve movie. I think I've easily seen that movie upwards of 100 times. Probably this one too. I've already watched this like 3 or 4 times this month. So
This
it's
is
just
a
on in
movie
the
I see every
background.
time.
It's just on in the background.
But,
Like I'm putting Home Alone on.
I feel like this
So-
movie is like a go-to Christmas Eve movie, and then Muppets Christmas Carol is really good,
Oh yeah.
and then
Classic.
No, Christmas Carol is like Christmas Eve, but Home Alone, that's like you got to kick off
Yeah.
the Christmas movie like marathon with this, This is just classic, and then when you get closer to
And then
Christmas, you got to crank Home Alone 2 cuz that's the better one.
No, Christmas Eve,
Just
and you throw this
saying.
on, and you're like, "Yo, I'm putting Home Alone 2 on
I-
after this."
I think
Yeah. I do both, honest. I will probably at least watch both of them, and then I'll watch one of them at least twice.
I think Home Alone 2 is like the perfect example of how you do a sequel. Like right. It's like you
100%.
just it's like go big or go home. Just like
Which they were
literally
they were joking in the
went big.
commentary. Yeah, they were joking in the commentary like we kind of just remade it in Home Alone 2, but it works. So who cares?
Joe Pesci hated working on this movie. I'm telling you.
Oh,
He
yeah.
From what everyone says, like everyone from like John Hughes to Chris Columbus to even Macaulay, like they're like, bro
He
hated
hated
working
it.
on this movie.
Yeah,
And it wasn't just him; it was some of the other adults too, because they were like, "What is this movie? This is just a kids' movie, and what am I doing with this?" And Pesci, especially, just coming off the Oscar for what is it, Goodfellas? So it's
Mhm.
like,
still
why am I doing this? And that's the thing; he's so good in this movie, though, right?
still the greatest Oscar acceptance speech. You know what his speech was?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. And he walks off the stage. I do the same, man.
Nah, I got things to say.
Oh, Buzz.
This is the most 90s room ever. You got
What
the
I love
Jordan.
about it
Yeah.
is like I never thought about the filmmaking for this movie. I mean, I really don't for most movies I love, but he was talking about how they shot most of this just in all the like interiors are all made
school, right?
in a high school
Yeah.
gym or like in which like just inside of a high school they made all the sets.
hmm
Just in the
Mhm.
suburbs of North Chicago essentially. I had to
I was
look it
watching
up.
I was watching the
I
letterbox.
feel like this scene, this moment right here is like the perfect example of like this is a 90s movie because
Oh,
something
yeah.
like I don't think you would ever see something like this in 2024 of like just I don't know, it just seems like it's like kids weren't supervised back then. Now it's like
yeah.
I think, but even then, I think it's a thing where it's like it's about imagination, and
Mhm.
this is like the myth of the neighborhood and the lore and this and
Yeah.
that, and this is an added character. Like his whole arc is added. He wasn't in the original script that Hughes wrote,
Mhm.
and I love that he's in this movie. The whole storyline with him, and
I love that
even
sound cue
the
right there,
bird
too.
lady.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of empathy within this movie that
Hey, Vikash, Tokyo Drift. Just drifting
Yes.
around the corner.
Charlie.
Those
I always
bandoleros.
say this movie's about two things. It's about a kid not being afraid anymore to be obviously home alone. It's not about two people breaking into a house. And the second is it's about
Kieran Culkin, my man,
it's
my
about
man.
a kid living next door to an old man, and he helps him reunite with his son. That's what I always say this movie's about.
And that's the thing. And then the second movie's actually
See-
the Ladybird situation of like it's the mother
Yeah.
and son, like that relationship is much more like fleshed
I
out,
think-
and you feel the I wouldn't say romance, but you feel like the love relationship there play out a lot more, especially with like how that movie ends and like in front of the whatever Rockefeller Center, the tree and all
Yeah,
that.
big tree.
Yo,
think
this
what I love
uncle
about
right here. This
How many
uncle, this man
pizzas-
is such a, I don't want to say
Such a
the
jerk.
word, but
How many
I think
pizzas
what I
is
like-
that? It's 122.50 in 2024.
I think-
Though, how much
I think
would
they
that
say
be?
it. I think they say it's 15 pizzas times $12 a pizza. He
Mhm.
says it.
and
but
I mean
was
those
saying what
same
I like.
pizzas would probably be like $26 or something.
Oh yeah.
It'd be like
What I like about
$300
this-
today. So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about the second one, because I rewatched it probably like a week ago. The second one too.
yeah,
Like Kevin actually owns his mistake in that. Like
100%.
leaving. He was like, yikes. The line like, yikes, I did it again. Like I'm all alone. And then at the very end, he's just like, yeah, I kind of fucked up, mom. Like it's my fault too. I messed up. One of my favorite throwaway lines it from Kevin's dad, John Hurd, is when right here he goes traveler's checks, and then John Hurd goes, it's very like silent kind of. He goes, you probably got the traveler's checks that don't work in France. like you're that much of a cheapskate.
I barely remember traveler's checks. Like that's
right here.
Bro,
It's
honestly,
right here.
I didn't even know.
We have
Yeah.
cash, and then the line's right here.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
What I love about like for me when it comes to the Christmas formula, I think your protagonist always has to be a little bit of a brat, whether it's an old person, you know, a kid, anything in between. Bro, Kieran, I love this kid.
There he is.
But
It's gonna be Academy Award winner Kieran Culkin.
I forgot Kieran was in
Possibly.
this, to be honest.
Possibly
I
Academy
never
Award
forgot.
winner.
I never forget because every time I see him, I'm like, oh, that's his brother.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about the black tile in the kitchen?
It helps show the milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so that shot of Kieran getting pushed
poor
into
Kieran.
to the wall.
And I always
He had
forgot
to
right here
come-
they throw Kevin's flight right there. There's the ticket, Kevin. Right in
They
the
Kieran
dang.
had to come back and get that insert done, and he had to get his his haircut again.
they said he had to
Apparently, he was pissed.
They were talking about in the commentary, like obviously because under child labor laws, like he has to stay only an amount of time. So like all these shots, like he's always shot by himself because it's like he can't be there. So like, but it works so well. Like you just shoot him separately, but it all works so well.
So,
but
if anybody wants to look at this movie and like study it, look at the height of the shots and look at the lengths and the play, like the blocking of them. Because you have to shoot him single because there's only so much time you can shoot with him, and they're using his doubles. Apparently, he had like 10 stand-ins for this movie, which is crazy. But they figured it out, and I'm like, I would love to just have a kid on set, giving this level of performance, because Macaulay's a cute kid, but like he's actually really good at this movie.
I'm kind of going off of what you said, Vikash, about how you have to have a protagonist that is a brat. Like, Kevin is a brat, like in this scene, but you also kind of feel sorry for him too, because
obviously you want to feel an empathy towards the your protagonist, but it's like it's the Dickens of it all, right? It's the Christmas Carol, and that's like that. I don't know. For me, like the reason why this is one of my favorite, one of my like 3 favorite Christmas movies is because I always feel that emotion. There's a reason why my mom loves this movie. I do love this. Every time, like, there's a lot of Kevin's dialogue is kind of like in his mind stuff where he would never say it, but like the way that Macaulay delivers it. Yeah, it's
like
it's
the line coming up right here. She's like, "I hope you don't mean that," and like the way he says, like, "No, I wouldn't." Like the way he delivers it. But it's great. Like you brought up earlier. Like,
what is this anti-Vin Diesel rhetoric right here?
Vin Diesel
I'm sorry.
is punching the air. He's punching the air right now.
That scene right there, I used like that clip. I think it's like a CapCut edit where it's like, I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life.
Okay.
No, I was saying like when you brought up earlier that like, because they were saying like Joe Pesci, they basically were hinting in the commentary that Pesci was pissed that like this kid was the star of the film.
Yeah.
And Joe Pesci's like, I just want a fucking Oscar. Like, and I'm like,
it's an ego thing
being put to the side. But like, I think he said that Joe Pesci still like calls him. I think he still goes over there for Christmas every year. Like, him and Joe Pesci got very close.
And
like,
that's the thing.
In the second one, I
like,
think mainly more.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like Joe Pesci. Where is he best? He's always been best. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And then
it is one of the best scores of all time. It might be the best Christmas score, period.
Chris Columbus said that he shot this essentially the same as David Lean's Great Expectations, this entire sequence. If you've ever seen that.
Yes, I have. I love David Lean, man.
Which is hilarious because I was just, speaking of David Lean, to go on a little side note here, I was watching the Criterion Channel, had John Waters on to do his like interview. And then they were like, the guy was like, he's like, I've written down every single like movie that I've seen a 1 to 5 star rating since 1965. And then the guy was like, "Are there any directors you don't like?" He's like, "No." Well, I don't want to say any because I could end up sitting next to them at a lunch. He's like, well, what about ones that are dead? He just goes, David Lean. And he just smiles and he's like, how many? He's like, who got the 1 stars? He just looks at him, he smiles, and he goes, David Lean. He's like, I hate David Lean.
Growing up,
R.I.P. John
is
Hurd,
realizing that Catherine O'Hara is beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is
That
not
was
a
such
red
good
hair
setup,
joke. Okay,
too.
don't. I'm
They
glad
set
Zach's
that
not
up
here because the red
perfectly.
hair would kill me. Oh,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like visual gags in this movie where I'm like,
Mhm.
there's such an amount of creativity visually in this movie that doesn't get enough credit. And
I mean,
that,
this
I
is
hate
this
to be
kid's
like
costume
those-
design.
Oh,
This kid's
I
costume
hate
design
to
just
be
from
like
the
that
back,
guy.
it is Macaulay Culkin. Like,
yeah,
literally.
100%.
I
And
hate
you
to be
never know,
that
he might have
guy,
been one of
but,
his
like,
stand-ins.
There's so many visual gags, and they don't make movies like they used to anymore because it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, I tell
I hate
Vikash
to
all
be
the
that guy,
time.
but that's true.
Yeah.
So
I tell Vikash all the time, like, I really watch movies from like the 2000s back. I rewatch them way more than movies I like newer movies. I don't know what it is. It's literally that, like, it is a cliche line, but like watching this movie, you're like, there's not an ounce wasted in this. Every shot is perfect. Like, there's not an ounce
And,
wasted in any of this right now.
Chris was talking about it, right? How he's like, oh, red, green, like
Yeah.
we did everything. And it's like, there's such an intentionality behind what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What he's doing in this movie is not hard.
I can actually
What
see
he's
it.
doing
I can
in
actually
this
see
movie
what's
is
going on.
competent. And it's sad that competency has to equal greatness.
Yeah.
But competency is greatness when it comes to filmmaking, right? Because the competency means that you're conveying your story, you're telling your story, and your audience is feeling the emotion of the story, right? So, like
I was
come on.
watching
and when you
I was
shoot on
watching
film, when you shoot on film, like that's sort of the things you have to think about too. Like when it's digital, it's like you can always keep like the camera
Yeah.
rolling. Like you can't
But
really.
even then, like I'm just like, just do it. Like
Yeah.
there's no excuse to make bad movies, especially if you have
Yeah.
digital now. It doesn't mean that you have to keep the
mob
camera
bell.
running. It's just you got to do better.
I was watching Letterboxd drop the Nosferatu's casts and Robert Eggers' top 4. And
Yeah.
Robert Eggers put Home Alone in his top 4.
Oh,
and he
nice.
said,
So, for
and he
anybody
said-
listening, this is recording. We're recording this in December. Okay, real quick, this is actually O'Hare Airport. I don't know if y'all have ever been to O'Hare,
Mhm.
but every time I see those flags, I'm like, oh, that's O'Hare. Like,
It is O'Hare, yeah.
I've been, yeah, I've
pre
spent
obviously
some-
9/11, so they'd be like, yeah, sure, come on in. Take a shot.
Right.
The producer of Nosferatu is
Chris Columbus.
Chris Columbus, his wife, and Robert Eggers. Those are the 3 PGA, producers. And if they get nominated, which they should be nominated, we haven't seen the movie, but they should be nominated for an Oscar because Robert Eggers does that level of work. They will be the ones nominated.
Robert Eggers said that
Jeez.
he said this Home Alone is one of the most perfect shot films he's ever seen. Every single
He's
shot
right.
is perfect.
What's crazy is Julio Mocat, the guy who shot this. This is his second feature movie, and he's gone on to shoot a lot of comedies like Nutty Professor, Pitch Perfect, and some other stuff. But it's like, bro started with this, and there's a softness to the lighting in this movie, where and the second one is beautiful work. Honestly,
This is what my hair looks like when I wake up every morning. by the way.
100%. Mine might look worse. I look like a crazy genius every morning. I look like Albert Einstein.
I remember in high
And
school.
I like that
whenever I'd
subtle,
have-
like when they're rushing to the airport, you know that someone is missing like the entire time. You're just kind of like silently, kind of like telling like the characters like you're missing someone, and like
Yeah.
and then you get the reveal. I'm like, oh,
You're right. It's
Whoa.
the tension of like, the information, but the characters don't know the information. So there's a tension there. It's like, come on, you didn't notice that your son is missing? And then that's the whole thing that's playing out, right? Even on the place. Like, did we forget something? Did we forget something? And then, she gets the line of, "Cat,"
Yeah.
I love it. That's not black. That is a blue. It looks black, like with the.
It's like a dark blue, yeah.
Okay.
Watching
Every time I see
OG
these
Miracle
movies,
on 34th Street.
this is probably shot on a Eastman film, and every time you look at these films, man, they look like there's a lushness to the colors every time I watch them. And I just, like you said, it's those movies probably like 2010 and before where they look fantastic when they're using this film. And There was a conversation yet again today. The teaser for the Superman trailer dropped, and they're talking about like, oh, the colors look a little, colors this, colors that, and number one, you haven't seen even a trailer yet, much
And
less the movie.
Yeah.
And the grading probably isn't even done yet. Like the movie's
Yeah.
out in like
It
July.
comes out in
so-
7 months. Yeah.
And James Gunn has pretty well lit movies. I'm not saying his movies visually like blow my mind, but he has good, competent work.
That's why
Man.
they're using
And I think,
actual
Martine-
silverware too.
Martinez
Actual
mentioned.
metal silverware.
I think Martinez
Yeah.
mentioned before the reason why stuff looks washed out too. Now, I think we mention in the TikTok live that we did.
Yeah, about
Vikash,
the streaming. Yeah.
Mhm.
how they washed it out just so movies can stream.
So look at the
So streaming services must hate shows, must hate movies like Home Alone. It's so vibrant. So
Yeah.
I mean, y'all tell me about that Disney Plus. But like I said, look at the shot, like where the camera is, right? The height of the camera.
or
where
where
at
it,
his
where it
level.
starts
It's
and
at
how
his
it
level.
finishes. Yeah.
It's at his level. And you foreshadowed the spider there. A little rack focus
Yeah.
from the spider.
Mhm.
And that's the thing.
I like
That's
how,
what
like-
I'm a big believer in. Your placements. Your Chekhov's guns throughout your movie.
You know what you're doing. Yeah.
Like
I'm
I
not
believe in that,
sure-
and it pisses me off when people write movies. They show you things, and then they don't give it to you.
Hmm.
Like John Wick might be the only exception where it's like he's building the mythos, like with the fucking pencil, right? And then in the second movie, you actually get to see the whole pencil thing, right? That's a great payoff, but it's not always like that. So this scene right here, apparently, it was supposed to be like a lot scarier, and I think this is much better.
They wanted like CGI furnace, right, to like come at him or
Yeah.
something.
but just the
It's like
sound
a,
design, look, it's so horrifying.
What's that? Shoot, Darren Aronofsky film.
Yeah, I know what
Um,
you're talking about.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You talking about Mother, or are you talking about
Mother,
Noah?
No, it's the one where
The
the fridge
fountain?
comes to life.
Fountain?
No,
Is
it's
that the fountain? No.
The
Why am I
brave new,
just-
the brave toaster.
No.
No, that's a
joking.
Disney movie. It's
I'm
like
gonna
a
look
Disney
this up
movie.
right now. I'm gonna look this up right now. It's killing me.
Macaulay Culkin. So I Russell Adams, the guy who shot most of like Better Call Saul, I think it was him. He was talking about how he has a specific light where no matter where you look, like he uses a specific like whatever LED light. So if you look at the eyes of the characters in Better Call
Requiem
Saul,
for a Dream.
oh
Mm.
okay.
Mhm.
So you see that single light in their eyes. Like he has a great technique for it. And I'm like, every DP should have that, which most of the great ones do. You see, like, look at the lights in his eyes.
Yeah. I like how they made the decision to have him look in the camera to break the fourth wall. It's like,
Yeah.
because it works.
But
It's a
but
kid.
no,
Like,
that's the
this is
thing.
what you always wanted as a kid, to be home alone. I can do whatever the hell
Exactly.
I want.
but this is how you do fourth wall stuff. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be over the top, but when you use it, it should be effective.
Hmm.
And that's okay. I don't want to complain about Deadpool right now, but like, that shot right there was one of the shots where Chris Columbus was just like, okay, do this, run into camera,
Yeah.
and just and it works. It works so well in the movie. There's a charm to it, and it's like people
Did they
aren't
speed up
risking
the footage
it
a little bit?
anymore.
Like when
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was running around? like
Yeah,
that?
they've ramped it. They ramped it.
Yeah, they speed it
Yeah.
up.
I like that a lot.
And the part coming up, it is a boy dressed as a girl, as
Oh, yeah.
Buzz's girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. Chris
It's
Columbus was
I would
like,
be
I-
so mean if I
Yeah.
had an actual girl there, and they said, ugh.
Yeah. At least he was considerate, and he thought
Yeah,
the
at
movie was going to do
time.
well.
Yeah, at the time.
Because-
like,
So he talks about this movie's success the same way that Spielberg talks about it, how they put it out in lesser theaters to the point where people are just like in line, people can't see the movie, so it's like the hype of the
came out the same
movie.
day as Rocky 5? Is it came out the
Yeah.
same day as Rocky 5?
And Rocky 5 had like majority of the screens and they only had like
Mhm.
600 or something. And there was a scarcity to it, and that scarcity added to the hype of the movie. And nowadays, we put it out in
Can't have
three.
this scene right now.
Yeah.
I think
Two-
they,
Can't
he said
have
they
this
made
scene
this
in
for a
2024.
while.
Make,
Yeah.
And what's crazy is
It
when
has to
Chris
make it
is
all
talking
it
about
has to make it all in one weekend. It has to make all their
Yeah.
money back in one weekend, or else it's a failure.
Oh, so Here's the line.
So he talks about it. It's like they shot all this themselves, which I do love.
Yeah.
I would this would be me. I would make a whole film. You know, it's exactly what Tarantino did.
I'd be good at
I'm
making this. This TCM.
I'm gonna make a whole
watching
FBI.
The
I've been doing
chocolate
all this
syrup,
research. I gotta pay it off.
marshmallows.
Yeah. They
It
made
is
this for what?
disgusting.
It was 19 million, and I think it made
18.
18. It made 470 something million, and I did the
That's
adjustment
probably
for
like
inflation.
800. That's probably 800 million.
It's 1.1 billion dollars. This movie made adjusted for inflation.
But
I don't think people realize how big this movie was.
Movie.
Yeah,
that's the thing about the mythology of this movie.
I mean, it's skyrocketed.
You talk about
Macaulay Culkin wasn't a star until this movie. Like it skyrocketed him.
I like how Kevin is just eating like tons of like rubbish and like just violent and watching violent movies, but he still has like the napkin.
I mean, Marley, you don't do this. This is what I did.
This is what I do.
He still has like
this is still what I do.
This is me watching The Matrix at his age. Me watching The Matrix.
This is me watching Bob's Burgers. Honestly, that echo.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Even John Hurd was low key irked about this movie, about working on this one.
Yeah, great actor. My favorite performance of his is in Big with Tom Hanks. He's just an asshole in that film.
Oh yeah,
asshole. Just an asshole.
I really like the one takeaway I get from like Home Alone. I get a ton of, but like the fact that Macaulay Culkin had Catherine O'Hara as a mom. Like he probably was bragging, but was to it.
I think he still calls her mom.
Was it? I think he just got a star on the Walk of Fame. Was it a few months ago? Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah,
was it
recently.
Or was it Chris Columbus? Maybe one of them. But she showed up to it, and he was just like, "It's my mom, my TV or my film mom."
And his other half is Brenda Song, for anybody who doesn't know, or we know because like we grew up. What, Wendy Wu? Oh,
from your favorite film, The Social Network?
Have either of you seen
caught me lacking? Bro caught me lacking today.
Have either of you seen the I think it's the MasterCard commercial?
Yeah,
for this
with the one
where
with
Catherine O'Hara's.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Macaulay's in it. It's just Catherine O'Hara, and she's just yelling Kevin. Kevin.
Oh no, I haven't seen that. No, but Macaulay did an ad recently related to this. So this is apparently the stunt double. Like, it's just a grown man doing that.
You can totally tell right there.
Yeah. And I was watching it like a week ago, and I saw him like lining up. I was like, "There's no way he would get out the door." And then I listened to the commentary, and they were talking
Macaulay
about
says,
"Look how we lined it up. Like, there's no way that's going out the door. Like, I'm going right into that wall if I lined it up that way."
Pre 9/11, like airplanes were like just a wild ride. You just have
you could just walk onto the plane essentially.
Or I don't want to. Sure, no. Literally, my Okay, I'm not gonna tell you the situation because it is quite personal. But there was a situation where my father would literally got to go all the way inside the plane and buckle somebody in.
Oh yeah,
all the way inside, and you could never do that today. You can't even get past
right up to the gate.
TSA.
Walk right up to the gate. Yeah, I know there are a few airports that have got. I think Pittsburgh, you can walk to the gate with your family, especially if you have a child that's like under 18 traveling.
Yeah,
you can walk to the gate now. They are starting to get more laxed on it. But if you really think about it, has the TSA really stopped a terrorist attack? No.
Yeah, there's a lot of efficacy testing that's been done in the past.
But yeah,
it's not really.
I remember I used to go to like Florida like every couple of years with my family, and I remembered as a kid, like you essentially just walked onto the plane. Like there was no security. Like you just walked on.
I miss this type of lighting. You see how it's supposed to be night?
Yeah. So you can actually like see them.
Well lit.
You can actually see them.
It's like people. I think they're very much. We talk about 9/11, but it's like in our modern era, people are always like, "Oh, this doesn't look realistic enough. This and that." I'm like,
it doesn't need to.
It's not about realism. It's about
if you establish that lighting early, audiences in. Like if you watch a noir, that lighting is not natural. It's not natural at all. But you establish it within the first 30 seconds, so it works.
So this Grinch, I think it's about like 26 minutes. Always worth a watch if you like the Grinch.
Classic.
Yeah, that's another one you like. You want to watch around Christmas.
That and Charlie Brown Christmas as well.
Yeah, I was about to say that one. That's the one that Zach always loves because he grew up watching that one. Me, I grew up with whatever was on, like whatever we watched at school, pretty much, and then whatever was on TV.
Watching all three of the Charlie Brown's Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas ones.
I probably watched like one of them at school, maybe like the Thanksgiving one.
So I rewatched the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. You know what's great about that movie? And the pumpkin never comes. It never comes. It just ends. It's like as a kid you'd be like, "What the fuck?" It just ends.
I tell you, this
that's life, man.
Okay, so this will get personal real quick. So this situation right here about a kid watching TV and people coming to break into his house. This actually happened to me when I was a kid, and I didn't even realize it till the next morning because they had broken into our house already. And then me and my brother, Terminator 2 was on, and I was like, Dad, can we finish watching Terminator 2? He's like, yeah, finish it and then go to sleep. I'm like, okay, cool. Wake up the next morning. It's Sunday morning. I'm like, hey, why is that window open? And then we realized that someone had removed a big piece of plywood and had come inside our home again. And it's like horrifying. Yeah.
That's scary as shit.
That's why you see him under the bed, bro. Tell me, we very soon moved from that home because it was that scary,
What I love,
and John Hughes talks about it. He's like, there's a tension behind a kid's nightmare of having their house broken into. I mean, I don't know how that works now, but it's a real fear. I think
I forget where I read this, but if Home Alone were made today, it would just be completely different with Ring cameras and
Well, I think they even say in the commentary it'd be over in a second because we all have cell phones. So this movie's irrelevant essentially.
But see, that's the thing. When people say that, I'm like, let's try it. Let's try to make this work. Let's try to have a concept like this again.
I mean, you could still do it. You said if the kid's younger, you could still do it instead of being 10, 9. If he's 6.
But my thing is use the technology and try to make it something interesting, right?
What I love about this scene too is after they're about to break in, he's like, "I'm not afraid anymore," and he walks outside and he just screams at the dude. And my theory also is the next door neighbor, he knows that he's home alone the entire time. He's just watching him and following him to make sure he's fine.
See, what that's a movie I want to see. Because
I have another theory. It's right here.
No, but I love the scream right here, this, where it's when you're a kid. I think the portrayal in this movie, it's fantastic. It's as a kid, we're see this right here, another speed ramp, right?
Yeah. And then this same shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the thing is,
that's a breaking the fourth wall a bit too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. He does it continuously through the movie, but it's it's so well done that you don't even think about it. And the greatest work out there is always, I don't think about it, but that's actually great.
This was also shot in a high school gym. This entire set.
Who's this guy?
I can see that.
I always know this guy.
I love shots like that where it pans over from one thing to the next.
Slide.
So
Yeah. You know who uses that shot a lot, right? Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson loves to use those shots. But that's the thing. I always know this guy. He has a motivated visual style that's consistent that people love.
I always know this guy from Billy Madison. He's
that's what it is.
Yeah. He's one of the board guys. That's friends with Billy.
See, look at the light. You see how the light is coming from behind his head, and you see it's like a soft glow, right? Very
it's amazing
soft.
It's amazing what you do when you have a key light and a backlight. And now most movies just have a backlight and no key light. Cough, a movie I'm not going to mention that just came out, I'm not going to mention it.
Wicked! I haven't seen it yet, but people can't shut the hell up on Twitter.
It's not that bad. People need to chill on Wicked.
That's usually
No,
that's
actually,
usually how it goes. That's usually how
no,
it
I actually
goes.
I liked the movie, but it was terribly backlit. Good
I
movie
think one of my favorite things about her calling like the cops is that the cops are just completely useless, and it's probably one of my
though. No,
favorite tropes in movies. When
it's
What's the legacy of that?
Yeah.
It's been
This is Chris.
40 years
This
later. Not 40, but
this
30 years later. You know.
this cop is Chris Columbus's father-in-law. But I love the line because he knocks like once and he goes, "There's no one here." The house looks. I'd be like, "Bro, you can break into my house. I don't care. My child is inside. Go into the house right now."
But the incompetency is like so realistic, honestly. I had a
it's like everyone's like, "Oh, cops." It's like cops do suck, man.
This lady, she's an actress. I think she's actually in Succession, if I remember correctly. She's the one with the older fella that's in the wheelchair that has the other what do you call it? The other stake in the company that they're trying to buy, like Ken's, whatever. Yo, whoever's listening, they'll be able to tell right away.
Her name's Hope Davis. This is her first film role ever. But she's
not
very famous, not French. Not very famous, but she's a very I would say big character actor. Like she's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
That's why it's like I didn't realize it until Columbus said it. I was like, wait, I know you.
Yeah.
The focus is off right there a little bit.
A little soft, yeah. A little soft.
Yeah. Whenever I see
John,
things,
John, I think it was more focused on John Hurd's face. Yeah. That's why, yeah.
Okay. But
I was saying John Hurd, not John Hurt. I'm saying John Hurd, not John Hurt.
John Hurt. There goes my southern Hurt.
Both are IPs.
Hurt. Yeah, I know. That's why. There's some fantastic needle drops in this. Again, look at the softness of that image of the exterior of the home.
Crossfade. Just a simple crossfade. That's all you need.
It's so good that I didn't notice. Okay, this is the time to talk about it real quick. Real quick. Roger Gosnell. Oh no, you go ahead. Talk about that. Then I'll talk about.
No, I was saying in the commentary they were saying that they originally were only going to use one of these scenes, so they shot two of them. This is obviously the most famous one. Puts the aftershave on and screams. But the next one that they use of him singing was just an alternate take that they basically were going to either use one of them, but they ended up using both. That's what I was going to say.
Which is awesome.
I like that shot right there.
He directed. So yeah, apparently this is the scariest day on set for the stuntman, because he was like, I don't want to do this, because he had no harness, no nothing, and he just had to bite it.
I feel like this is the most unrealistic part of the entire movie. Maybe it's because I was just like a nervous kid. Why would you do this?
I've done this. I've done this as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, but the shelves were stronger though. They never broke.
I've definitely climbed some stuff that I probably shouldn't have climbed.
I used to jump off a lot of stuff when I was a kid. Yeah.
Plus, his life savings is $3.
Look, good old tarantula. He'll come back later. Another there's a narrative for the tarantula, right? Introduction,
$3
action, and then he comes back in the third act. So, like I said, Roger Gosnell, he directed the third one. He was the editor for this movie and the next one. Ended up directing the two Smurf movies, Scooby-Doo 1, 2, the live action movies. He directed those.
Man.
And it's like, bro just turned into a kind of I guess he is a successful director because he made a lot of movies. But interesting that, it starts with being an editor. I think editors are probably more than actors, in my opinion, they're the most attuned people to where they can become directors faster, because they become the director at the end of the process, right? Like, they're the ones who have to adjudicate all that sort of stuff.
Together.
And besides, having to, go on set and deal with people, they do everything else that needs to be done with that job.
And they've probably directed on certain days too, like if someone was out sick or something like that. Or
Bryan Singer. There's stories about certain people, certain person coming in and having to direct on the movie, and I think it was Newton Siegel, the cinematographer, who ended up having to direct. till Dexter Fletcher like came in. No, it's Bohemian Rhapsody. That's what I'm thinking about. I would never
That's
cover
so
for somebody
cool.
like
That's
that.
such a clever way to hide the crossfade with the
Mhm.
kaleidoscope. I love
Yeah.
that.
So this scene, bro. Okay, I'm gonna chill on the commentary stuff, but this scene was I think it was he said it was the first day
First scene they filmed,
Macaulay,
yeah.
but they
Yeah,
did
first scene they
38
filmed.
setups in one day. And
Crazy.
you're talking about shooting on digital. You could shoot 38 setups in one day on digital if you have the planning right.
See, that's what I'm saying.
And these
See,
setups are
he's
great.
following him. He knows.
Yeah.
And I also have another theory. When he smacks his hand down and his hand's all bloody, he knows that these people have been breaking into houses. And he may have fought them before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making all of this up.
Split diopter alert. Split diopter alert.
Yeah.
Sydney's freaking out right now. Sydney Volpe.
Bro, I've been on the split diopter alert before. No offense. I don't mean it as a hater thing, but like I've been on it before. We were nerding out about it on Twitter for years. I still do, man. I love it. I really do. Shout out
Sydney. Jimmy. Here comes Jimmy, the All-American.
Bro, yo, Jimmy, a straight hoe. Jimmy, you're a hoe. Whoever you are, you're such a hoe. Well, look at this. Look at this hoe ass behavior right here. Stop, lifter.
Hey, Jimmy, you got legs. Why don't you run after him as yourself?
Snitch. Snitches get stitches.
Like I said,
dude. So like, can
he's a ho to the
lady in the car just drive away? Like, cop ran away from me.
Shoplifter toothbrush probably cost like maybe
genuinely,
$1.
if I saw like a 7-year-old
cost
kid
like 25 cents maybe.
Yeah.
If I saw a 7-year-old kid do this, I would be like, are you serious? It's the best thing a cop could be doing.
Well, they're playing hockey while people are figure skating. Like, guys,
we all fat cop fall on the ground. So it's a funny. Yeah. That's comedy right there. That's comedy.
Yeah. Beautiful. Just a beautiful shot, man. That's how the kid got away. You know, not everything has to be close up. I feel like there's a lot of visual language now in movies where it's just close up. Look at these shots. Every time he's on the sidewalks, like the shots aren't close. You know, they're very almost like removed at a time.
It uses depth of field too.
Oh yeah, fantastic depth of field. Z-axis work, you know. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. Wait, straight. You did it again, didn't you? But again, it pays off at the end. The cop's just like, now we leaving the water running. Now we know every house that you hit. Like,
so Marv, he was actually
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern was a bit of a back to the future situation where it's like he couldn't be in the movie and then he could be in the movie and then they got someone else to be in the role and they're like, oh, this person is not good enough for this.
Post City Slickers, I think he had a higher rate that then they wanted to pay, and so they didn't want to meet it. They didn't want to meet it because they're already paying. Obviously, going to pay Pesci so much.
Yeah,
this is my favorite shot. My favorite shot right here is when he yells.
Just as funny. He's
when he yells at the car right in his face.
Yeah,
which they obviously shot reverse because you're not going to fucking stop in front of a child.
But it looks fantastic.
It looks great. It looks fucking great. Like my favorite. She just screamed.
He was like he was counting. He was literally walking backwards and then counting.
Just die.
Literally staring down the bumper as he's screaming.
Yeah.
Imagine if they just hit him right there and he just dies. Yeah. It's like, well, movie ends.
Merry Christmas. And our favorite lines right here.
They would be like, F that kid.
I like the way that kid looked at me. Did you see that?
How many modern filmmakers use that kind of like dramatic lighting? Like for like comedic effect, because I know Edgar Wright does it a lot.
He gives us like a melodramatic look to it, which is great because it works. It gives you that like warm feeling of Christmas. Is basically that like
melodrama works when it's genuine. That's what I will say. You know, and it's genuine right here for the comedy. You know, the comedy and the drama of it.
Just play casual.
Yeah.
The only thing about this is that they take out the diegetic sound,
the grabber,
and then they just let John Williams do the rest. which is the
Yeah.
best part. He's like, "Oh, I don't need an engine sound. I just need John Williams. John Williams, go crank on this real quick." And even Columbus points out, he's like, "Yo, the placement of music in this movie from John Williams is fantastic." He's like, "Of course it's fantastic. You talk about one of the greatest
John
composers,
Williams.
period."
Right.
The
The
man knows
greatest
his work.
composer, period.
And it's like
It's
the
the greatest composer.
I mean, the
Is
only
it
reason I
Sir
say
John
that is because I know so
Williams?
many music people, and they're like,
Is he
"Oh,
knighted?
Mahler, Bach, Debussy, like,
Nah, John Williams
like,
is American.
Oh, I
I
thought,
mean,
okay.
but
I
I'm
thought he
saying,
was
like,
knighted
just
for some reason. What?
no. You gotta watch
Chris
the
Nolan
doc,
was
man.
Chris Nolan was knighted today. It's Sir Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan.
Sir Chris Nolan, Mister
Yeah, John Williams is
Gladiator
John
2
Williams
is
is American.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I say that
Yeah, I
as
saw
a
that.
Nolan
I saw
lover.
that. I'm gonna make no comment. I saw that.
Yeah, we all three of us have the same feelings about it. Okay.
Yes.
But all this dramatic music from John Williams in the movie
Studio note.
is fantastic. I hate this because you can tell it's
Studio
ADR.
note.
Yeah,
They brought that up in the commentary. I can always tell when things are like watching that. I think I even turned. I was just like, I forget who I was with. I was like, that was definitely a studio note.
this
When
is
those
one of my
guys come
favorite
back,
scenes.
I'll be ready. Just to be like, just so the audience knows what he's gonna do. It's like they can
Mhm.
figure that out when they're watching the movie. Like, but it's I work at a studio, and these are
Yeah.
notes you get. These are notes you get. Can we add a fart? It's
Look at
funny.
their
'cause
eyes.
Kids.
The lighting that they're using to like light their eyes is what do you call it? It's like a double light for everybody, mostly in this movie. I think using Michael Jordan right here might be one of the greatest investments they made
Mhm.
because Jordan wasn't a brand back then, right?
He was
basically
just coming
starting
up,
at
though.
that time. Yeah,
Yeah,
starting
he
at
was
that,
coming-
like
And
90,
I mean, like,
shooting
did the
89 maybe.
Did the Bulls like go that hard yet?
They were about to.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, John Hughes is from Chicago. That's why all his movies take place in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Which I love. I mean, like, that's like saying that I want to make movies set in Savannah. Of course, I would.
Well,
make movies
it's
set
like
in
M Night
Savannah.
Shyamalan. It's all Philly.
Yeah, but,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I do the same thing. It's all Philly.
All Philly, baby.
All Philly. I'll get these stock footages of France.
Yo. Chris Columbus is so pressed every time a shot comes up that they didn't shoot. He's like, the studio didn't give us enough money, or else we
Yeah.
would have went and shot this
I
ourselves.
love that they have a running bit in this because in this they're in France and they're watching It's a Wonderful Life in French, and then in the second one they're in Miami watching
Miami?
It's a Wonderful Life in Spanish.
Yeah.
they still don't watch
It
it
is
in
just
English.
pouring rain.
Yeah, they still don't watch it in English. It's just a great little bit that they do.
I don't know if that's a matte painting, but it is a painting. In the
I think
back.
I think they said it was a photo that they blew up. This was shot
It
in the
works.
same high school set. Crazy.
Can't tell. And
Shot in
why you
Chicago,
can't tell?
a random Chicago
because
high school.
The production design is fantastic in this movie.
I mean, look at this lighting. Like, this lighting is so bright, but it works. I can see everything. This is how you should light a film. Like,
Whenever
what are we doing?
whatever
What are we
the
doing,
cinema
guys?
pursuit for this movie, I'm telling you, I think this movie is great cinema. I genuinely do because everything works and it works gangbusters. Straight up, everything is on top. If you want to talk about maximalist filmmaking, this is correctly done maximalist filmmaking right here.
This is how everything is blocked, and like you mentioned, I think it was you, Vikash. How like all the colors on how everything kind of like just matches like a scene, like
Yeah.
the mise en scène of just everything. Everything just blends
Mhm.
together like perfectly. I love it. I thought that you can bleep this out. I thought that said a little N-word pizza, but it was a little near.
It's
was
fine,
like,
bro.
what
You
the hell?
biracial. You
Yeah.
black, okay? It's
You're
fine.
good. I'll leave it. I'll leave it.
Oh,
I mean, it is Italian.
long as
so
I
I
don't
want to be
say it.
surprised. I want to be surprised.
As long as I don't say it, we're good, guys.
As long as I don't say it either. What are you talking about?
I still don't feel comfortable saying it, even though I'm biracial.
Okay, Mr. Logic.
It's crazy. They use this essentially I mean, they do it in the second one with just a different scene, but they use this bit 3 times and it works every single time.
Yeah.
I think what sells it the
Why does
second
it
time
work?
is Daniel Stern's reaction.
Yes,
his reaction
exactly.
the second one is what sells it.
And bro got like plastic, what do you call it? Plastic surgery lips, like whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by his lips. But even his reaction right here,
Yeah. Like the falling over the
and
Yeah,
the sound
right.
design of the gunshots, like the
Yeah.
Tommy gun.
so loud.
Yeah.
See, why would? Okay, this is another example of just the cops not doing anything. Like this guy would obviously go back to like
And
like
call the cops.
Yeah, and call the cops. Like, oh my
It's the
god, I
same
got shot
house.
at.
I mean,
They've
would
already had
he
multiple
call the
calls
cops
out.
though?
No, he probably would just run away.
Is
Yeah.
it Dominic Toretto?
Yeah.
See, if this movie
I'd
were
love
made
all
in
these-
2024, like he would just order DoorDash and be like, "Hey, can you leave it at the door?"
Leave it on the doorstep, yeah.
It'd be funny. They show the photo, you know how they take the photo of this stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just him with the
His
He
It's
uses
like-
his mom's
his-
credit card.
yeah. His notes are the comments are just leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of here.
tip. No tip.
No
It's
tip.
just a voice message of
Tips
gunshots.
$1. His tips $1.
Well, I think
No.
Ken on
He would be,
DoorDash, you
he
can
would be
leave
tipping like
GIFs
if
now.
it's $20, he'd be tipping $20.
Oh, yeah.
I think you can leave GIFs like on the messages on DoorDash. So he would leave like the GIF of like the movie,
Oh,
and just
yeah.
like
Leave it
I'll
on
pump
the
you full of
doorstep and
lead.
get the hell out of here.
I ain't gonna lie, I hate this woman.
Oh, all right.
I hate that woman. I really do. If I was in the same situation, are you kidding me? I'd be like, get on the like here, go. You
Do
need
they
to go
keep
get to
using
your
the same
son.
shot
on
of
the
the
hook.
plane taking off?
I
I think
have no
it's the
idea.
same shot.
man. Low budget.
no
We
idea.
gotta
I'm
keep
in
using
denial.
it.
I'm in denial. I don't even want to know. I've seen this movie at least like 50 times. I don't want to know.
I would have done the same thing. I'm just
You know what I
asking.
love about this?
So
Yeah.
What I love about this is they actually took a photo of them, and it's not photoshopped.
that's cool.
That's what I love about it.
Okay.
It
all
actually
I'm saying
looks
is that if
real
you have the
because
money,
it is real.
it takes what? How long does it take to take that photo? Get everyone to change into those clothes and then change back into.
I'd be
the other
like, I would just
clothes.
if I were the director, I'd be like, you guys dress yourselves and come to it, and we'll take the photo. And that's the
like
family photo.
like show up in the morning. We'll take this photo and then you can go to makeup.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes 2 seconds. Yeah, so this scene is the other version that they shot during a test to see what they would use, but they just ended up using both.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick. The charismatic genius of little Macaulay Culkin. This man, the swagger is like 100,000 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would watch anything with this kid. Like make The Godfather with this kid.
Kevin would have 1 million followers on TikTok just because he's
A
really good
million?
at lip syncing.
A million?
And dancing. Yeah.
Bro would have like 100 million.
200 million.
Yeah.
200 million.
He'd be the top influencer.
Oh,
He's like
I think that I saw another thing too. Like everyone was paying attention to how much groceries were. Like this is happening like right around the
$1.19.
$1.14 for that milk.
Yeah.
And it was milk right now, half a gallon is
Around $4.
Or no,
$3
no, half a
maybe?
gallon. Half a gallon is
I live in
at
California.
Aldi
so
it's
gonna
about
be different
169.
for me.
Yeah. And then gallon
I
of
don't
milk
drink
is
milk,
about
so-
256.
I don't drink milk either.
I mean,
so
I sell milk, so I need to know.
you would know more than me.
It's kind of my job. I should
It's like
know.
take yours and then add $2, and that's what it is in California.
Yeah. I love this exchange, you know, the interaction. Okay, like I said, okay, so look at the camera when they're having the conversation, the camera is between the two of them, and then it's kind of in the middle, right? You see, it's in the middle, it's not his height and it's also not her height. But it's also a little bit tilted up a little,
It's a little
higher
down and
when
a little
she's
up.
looking at him
Yeah.
because she has a skepticism about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's like common. It feels like common
you don't
sense to me.
You don't shoot them in the same frame either.
No.
Different because they're thinking different things.
Yeah.
And this ends they ad lib this end part when he says, "Because you're a stranger." because Chris Columbus told her to just keep talking,
Yeah.
keep asking him questions, and see what happens.
And apparently Macaulay he always had an answer,
Yeah.
which is the best part.
Because you're a
It's like,
stranger.
yeah. I love this gag right here.
The magazine he was
Yet
reading
again,
was Women's
look
Day,
at the
right?
look at the Z-axis, the whatever, the depth of
Yeah.
frame. Beautiful.
And it breaks the fourth wall. Just
They're probably shooting like 100 like 100
Yeah,
millimeter lens. Like a zoom lens. Maybe a longer than 100, maybe.
not them Deacons 28s.
This is Kevin is like the most responsible. Kevin's the most responsible kid, like, to be home alone. Because I know if either of us were home alone, we're not doing laundry or anything like that. We're playing hella video games and like...
I've got laundry going right now.
I'll be doing laundry. I clean.
I literally have laundry going right now. The other night I couldn't go to sleep because I was waiting for my laundry to dry.
I have an app that tells me when to clean. That's how much I'm a neat freak.
You have an app for that?
Yeah. It tells me when I
just look at my room. I look at the mess and I'm just like, damn, I need to clean.
I just use timers like my the clock app on iPhone. It'll just let me know like when to do stuff.
Oh.
It's the most chaotic system ever, but
nah, I need the timer whatever. It's 41 minutes for the wash, then I have the timer running on my phone. That's about it.
That's great. Go and check it out. He just nods his head. Now? No, tomorrow. Here you go. It's the same scene. This scene was what? 5 minutes ago? Same dialogue.
But I think that's the point. You have to set up the joke, and then one time is a joke, and then the second time it has to be serious, right?
Yeah. This is way more serious, yeah.
Yeah.
But Daniel Stern sells this with his reaction to be like there's actually a conversation happening.
You know what I just caught? I'm so stupid.
Oh, good.
I am so stupid. You know what I just realized? The two things beside the TV are massive speakers. I'm so stupid.
You didn't know that? That's how the sound
is. Stupid. I'm so
I mean,
stupid.
he blends the sound in to be with the audience, but yeah.
And I used to have speakers like that growing up at my house.
This one is more serious now because Kevin was like, was not expecting fucking shit.
And that's the thing, they elevated again, right? With the firecrackers.
Yeah, but I mean, he completely sells the scene with his reaction.
Yeah.
It doesn't work without that reaction.
No, but that's the thing. You have to set it up once, and then now you're adding a level of tension because you know what's going to happen, and now he's adding this element, right?
Yeah. And then you add that extra sound. Have him die.
Yeah. Diving over the garbage cans.
Bro is back in Vietnam.
This right here, no one has called 911 at all during this entire time. You would have cops lined
obviously
up.
And obviously they're not going to call 911 because they're breaking into houses.
Right.
What do you mean? He's the police.
But like his neighbors. Yeah. So
someone just got blown away. He's like,
yet again, it's his acting.
He's so good at playing dumb. He's so good at playing dumb. Like I know that snakes before.
Oh,
like he's seen the movie.
The sideburns was also Daniel's idea. He did the sideburns himself.
Yeah,
iconic.
It's like he's seen the movie. Like that's how dumb he's like.
And look at his breathing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's you could see it like. And you have to like when you can see him breathing. I have to imagine like they talk to wardrobe like what kind of coat he should wear at that like to see like his breathing and him freaking out and just hyperventilating. I don't know. I like those details right there. So I don't think they use the same shot of the airplane. I think they probably
let's count it
down.
Let's count it down. Okay. John Candy, man. John Candy, what a heart. What I do like is these people with the glasses. Though, if anybody has seen John Hughes, he's always got these thick, round glasses. You know.
Wait, that's John Candy.
No. John Candy's in the back. I'm talking about. Sorry, I went from John Candy to John Hughes real fast.
Okay, I was like, what?
No. John Hughes has big round glasses like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe bigger.
Mm-hmm. They only had John Candy for what, a day?
Yeah, 24 hours, literally.
Yeah.
I will say, with the 4K, the clarity of Catherine's eyes is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She looks even more with 4K. I didn't think that was up. I didn't think that was possible. So,
Accurate. What I love about this is that they set up they show like the first not master, but the first shot from this angle. You see John Candy in the back, and then slowly he creeps up here.
mhm.
John Hughes and John Candy were both good friends, so I think they said he got paid a couple $100 or something for doing this role,
Yeah, I think he just did it as a
That's
favor.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
which
I
is
love it
like
when you have stories like that.
Because
where
again,
it's like,
this
But that's
movie
the
wasn't
thing,
supposed
as
to
an
make a lot
actor,
of money. That's why it was
like
like a favor.
yeah.
like if you tell me like, hey, go direct on this thing that my buddy's doing, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go do
Yeah.
that. That sounds like fun. And I feel like an actor, I think that's half the magic of it, right? And every time you see
Mhm.
one of those roles where like a person is randomly like in a show or a movie, you're like, wait, you're in
Yeah.
this? How are you in this show?
Yeah.
Are you in this movie? And it's like, people
I feel
love
like you
It was a
people. And
can't
favor.
have.
it's beautiful.
I feel like you can't do that anymore because like
Yes,
there's
you
so
can.
like contracts are so big now and people are making so much money. It's like yeah.
That one episode of The Dinner with the bear, where I'm like, y'all just dropping a name,
Yeah.
another name,
Yeah.
another name. I'm like, bro, come on, Bob Odenkirk, Jamie Lee
Right.
Curtis. I was like, come on.
Get in Chicago.
This is me. This is me right here. Okay, I'm the one. I'm the concerned individual who's being reasonable.
Like, we'll give you a ride. But it's great though, because she'll do anything to get back there. But then she comes into the house, and 4 minutes later, her entire family comes on. Yeah, we took
Yeah,
the
bro, I
morning
would be
flight that
so
you want to
pissed.
take. You could just waited 2 days, and
But that's the tension of it. That's the moviness
yeah.
of it,
Well,
right?
it's the point is just like she's gonna do anything to get back to her child. Doesn't matter how she gets there.
And I
If
think
it
it's
takes her a
interesting.
week
I think
or
it's
a
an
day.
honest 90s dad portrayal that bro doesn't even like. I wouldn't even go with my
Yeah.
wife. And me, I'm like, I would never even let my wife go alone. I'm like, we're going together no matter
Well, it's
what.
like also it's like everyone like he has his two siblings there too. That dad, I'd be like, all right, my
But
kid, you're
even
gonna
then,
stay with
it's like,
them, and me and your mom are
they
gonna
got the
get
crappy
together.
uncle. The crappy uncle can do some
Yeah.
babysitting, right? I mean, that's
And
an
they're in
interesting
fucking
parenting.
France.
Whatever, catch 22, isn't it? Right?
That smile right there is very. It's giving. Well, it's the '90s. Probably can't really smoke all
Yeah.
that much in the '90s, but
Just looks right through the window.
Bro, is this what is this? The Matrix?
Yeah.
I like that. You can see it through the ornament.
Here you go. You ready? Ready to point? He's home alone.
Look at his eyes. Look at Daniel's eyes. They look beautiful too.
Right here. He's home alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's the title of the film.
Roll
Right
the credits.
Cut the check. Cut the check. There we go. Signing off. We hope y'all had a great time with this pod. We'll see y'all next time for Home Alone 2. And we'll wait for him to say Home Alone, and then we'll cut that one right off too. I'll see
I
y'all.
know you
Good
said that
night.
you're gonna watch Home Alone 2 like after we do this recording, but I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna watch it too, just because
I might throw it on.
I'm
I might
already-
just
I'm
throw
already
it
gonna
on.
watch it either way. Like, I told Pat, I was like, I'm already gonna watch these movies. I love these movies. These are.
Yeah.
I think there's such a beauty to movies. The rewatchability of any movie is always important to me because how many movies are there that have ever been made where people watch your movie every single year? Like, you might not care, but people care. There's an investment within it, and it should be studied that people care about this stuff and why. And
I mean, I've watched this movie ever since I was 6, maybe 7.
ever
Like
since I can
every
remember.
single year, every
ABC
time it hits
found me
December,
ABC
This is the
Family,
mo-
there's Harry Potter,
Yeah.
and there's Home Alone. What else are you gonna watch?
like Home Alone's going on, and
And
I'm
then
gonna watch
maybe
this
Elf comes
5
on.
times. I'm
Is
gonna watch this
it
5
Harry
times.
Potter still, even with J.K. Rowling? She who must not be named.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't have TV anymore,
I still
so
watch.
no.
I still watch Harry Potter.
I mean, I still want to watch it.
I
but
just
I
I
just
say
never seem to have the
I
time.
say Harry Potter was created by Daniel Radcliffe. It's okay. He created it himself.
And
I will
Christopher Columbus.
say,
So
put it this
And Chris
way:
Columbus, yeah.
yeah,
like
Christopher
H.P. Lovecraft
Columbus,
was a
the
terrible human
director.
being, but like
yeah.
H.P. Lovecraft had cool stuff. But it's
Uh,
not his. It's not beholden to him. If Guillermo del Toro made a movie that's like Lovecraftian, I'm not going to give him credit. I'm going to give
When people are
del Toro
like,
the credit.
when it's Columbus Day, it's Chris Columbus Day, the guy who made Home Alone.
This is
and
actually
The Man
Chris
Who Was
Columbus,
Sitting, and
1492.
Harry
This is
Potter,
my Chris
Right.
Columbus.
and Harry Potter.
Arguably,
it's his day.
like I don't think Harry Potter would be what it is today if it wasn't for Chris Columbus.
I
the
mean, he's the one
director of
that
this movie.
he casted it. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. This guy went on to be in Michael Bay's Armageddon.
I thought this was
Oh jeez.
John Hughes.
The
honestly.
Santa?
Yeah, he's like the big white dude in it.
Oh jeez.
He's like, the Cubs win the World Series in Armageddon.
Yeah. I need to rewatch Armageddon. So
Classic.
Gee, whenever I watch this movie, and I know we've talked about it already, that like the depth of field, like I miss that. So like I watched what was that that Carry On movie last night? It's on Netflix. There's no depth of field in that movie at all. It's just like everything is just so clear now. And
Yeah.
I like how movies like back then were just very cinematic and they had a look to them. It's like it's not like it's not so it's not so stale.
It's like what Robert Eggers was saying. It's like he said every shot is perfect and every shot is perfect. There's nothing wasted here. And this scene right here, the car actually died. Like right here, it actually died. It stopped working. And his reaction being like, "Ah, damn it!" Like it was so genuine because I think they said it kept rolling, and Macaulay Culkin like looked back, being like, "Oh, because it was supposed to drive off, and it didn't drive off." It's like, oh, it's perfect. It just dies.
And I've mentioned this before, like the shot right here of like where the shot starts and where it ends. Like it's probably my favorite thing in like cinema. Like it starts up top and then meets back at the house. It's just like I love it.
You bring it down to his level because now it's like in the first 25 minutes you're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm home alone. I can do whatever the hell I want. And now you're like, now I just want to be with my family. Like I miss them.
These shots,
he's learning about the power of family, Vikash.
Yeah, it's like voyeuristic family learning. It's like I'm missing. Okay. So
without
he's missing
Dominic
a Corona. He's missing a Corona.
It gets me emotional because this is the first time in a long time, maybe ever in my life, where I actually am home alone without anybody, and it gets to me, man. Like,
you got us,
I don't know, like,
yeah, what are you talking
I'm
about?
with y'all. See, I'm happy. I'm not saying that, but it's like, you know, that loneliness, especially at this time of year, you know. It makes me grateful for y'all. It makes me grateful for my family. It makes me even more grateful that, you know, grateful for home alone.
You want to know what else you have, Vikash?
Familia. Actually, very much. Very much.
This is
probably
like
the most important scene in this movie.
Like this scene right here. This is the most religious that this film gets. But I like that it's not preachy. It's like this is what Christmas is about. It's not like trying to like push any type of religion.
Oh, okay.
But it's like,
last few days or starting like last Saturday, I've met multiple people stressed about buying gifts and doing all this stuff, and I understand it's a translation of what you have, you know, the relationships that you have in your life and your family, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, but I don't think the core of your relationship should be consumerism. I'm just saying it should be the emotion that you have with the people around you, you know.
Look at that lighting on. See that lighting that far away on him. Fantastic. On Marley next door. Like you can see, he was the only one that was lit in that thing. Look at the lighting on him.
And you know what they did for that, right? They set up a massive light outside. They took the time. It took probably an hour to get that thing set up, maybe longer. And it looks fantastic. Yet again, look at the angles
and use that
over exaggeration.
Really wide lens coming up.
Yeah.
really wide lens to be like, oh, it's gonna be scary, and then you cut to a oh, okay, huh.
I like that small
Yeah.
little smile. You
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
smile just crack, and it's just like,
But that's the thing about kids. Like, there's an over exaggeration when it comes to all emotions. Look at the depth of field on this, the drop off. Jeez.
Mhm.
Such an epic shot
Like he
for just two
even tells him
characters
here.
sitting in a church.
He even tells him, he's like, you don't need to be afraid of me. Like, you don't need to scream when I walk up. I'm just a normal dude, man. Like, I know you're home alone, by the way. So when the burglars come later, I'll help you.
I love it. I really do.
they both
And
needed
he
each other.
cares. Look, he is so concerned for Kevin.
I mean, he basically just says
hey.
like, "Yo, it's Christmas. Call your son." He's like, "Yeah, maybe
And
I
it's
will."
also, it speaks to the rudeness of, not the rude, there's a rudeness there of kids, and their minds, that they would just make rumors about an old man
Oh
who's
yeah,
alone
there's always that.
yet again.
There's always the one guy that's just alone, and there's always
We were
rumors
talking
about
about holdovers, right?
holdovers. Yeah,
Kevin's alone.
Yeah.
Marley's alone. This Marley's also alone. I'm sorry, man. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm catching strays. I'm joking, obviously, but there's something about loneliness where it's like it's actually really good to explore it in these movies, right?
Kevin's a
Talk
holdover.
about it's a Dickinson thing, right? Or sorry, not Dickinson. Jesus.
I actually take
Dickens
that
thing.
back. I'm gonna watch the holdovers again and listen
Yes,
to
yes,
the commentary
yes.
episodes.
Yes. Anybody listening?
Yeah, line it up
Go watch the holdovers. It's the only
and listen to
worthy
our
Christmas
commentary.
movie, but like of the last like 10 years, maybe 20 years, besides Elf, that's worth our time anymore. A movie to worth coming back every year, because it says there's like a beauty to it, and there's a real beauty to
It's
this
worth
one.
coming back every year because it was shot like those movies like back in the day. It's like,
Yeah,
Actually,
Yeah.
that's true.
it's an actual movie.
mhm.
Jeez, look at these shots, man.
These close-ups. I was an abusive alcoholic. To be honest, guys.
Regrets will kill you in life if you let them. And I think there is a very interesting thing about an interesting catch-22 when it comes to these sorts of conversations about how you can be very close to people, but there's certain actions that you do that are
Mm-hmm.
that can seem irreparable to these relationships.
Or just one
And-
conversation.
Yeah.
And this
It
what's
changes
important.
everything.
What's
Yeah.
important about this conversation too? I've had this conversation multiple times because my mom, like, she did daycare like growing up, and I
Yeah.
was around like kids, and like having a conversation, like a tough conversation with a kid,
with kid.
like it's
Mhm.
important because they see the
Oh, yeah.
world through,
Yeah,
and the way this
your lies.
this-
Yeah,
the way this whole scene is shot, there's like a sort of kind of like depressing side to it, but also like you still get like that childlike kind of like wonder, and
yeah.
you see like his eyes
So-
like light up too, like
I think what I like
the
it-
old
what I
man's
love
eyes.
about it-
This is the dramatic scene of the movie. If there's one scene you
Yeah.
count as the
Oh, this is the
drama,
scene. This
Yeah.
is the scene.
Like this
This
is
is a
the
scene
scene you
they
play
had
at
to get
the
right.
I think
at the Oscars.
I think what I love about this scene too is like it's, to me, it's implied, like I always thought this guy was probably an alcoholic and would be abusive, but Kevin doesn't know that. So like he can
Yeah.
say this, and Kevin can be like, "Look, man, it's still Christmas time. He might not have been abusive, but maybe he's just an alcoholic, and he just has said some shit in the
he
past.
messed up the
Yeah,
relationship.
and he messed up.
Someone like
And- but
let's say Ali
but,
from
but him
Euphoria.
talking to Kevin is just like, this kid is 10 or 9. Like when
But
kids are
that's
that
the
young, they're gonna say whatever on their mind, and he says the correct things. He'd be like, "Bro, just talk to your son. It's Christmas." And he's like, "You know what? Maybe I will." Like, I haven't done that, and he does.
There's an innocence,
And it's
to
just
the
that
empathy.
simple of a conversation.
That's what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If we
It's just
had
that
an
simple.
innocent empathy for others like that,
Yeah.
where we're just like, talk to your kid.
Just
You never
talk
know
to
what's
each other.
gonna-
Yeah. Or it's like, and again,
me and
the opposite.
Marley, I was
The
I was
opposite of
listening to me and Marley talk about Dawn from the Planet of the Apes, like whatever, the Cinema Pursuit episode, and literally we're talking about it. It's like, how many protagonist and antagonist. Like there would be no movies to make
Mhm.
if everybody went to therapy, if they actually communicated
Right.
properly.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, there's such a tension behind, like, you know, the miscommunications of our lives, right?
Well,
Whether
yeah,
it's
it's like, and the
Marley in
opposite of
this
that
movie
is,
and Macaulay in this movie with his mom,
Mhm.
right? Where she is very direct.
well, even
I
Kevin
don't want
thinking
family.
Kevin thinking Marley's scary, like he's not. He's
Yeah.
just a normal guy. I mean, like you don't have to be
Exactly.
afraid of me, man. I'm just salt in the sidewalks for so people don't slip. Like,
I'm being altruistic. God forbid I be altruistic and actually care for my neighbors and the people I live around.
And Macaulay Culkin actually drew that whole
I like
little
that.
map. But then they made it. They're like, but wouldn't he know the layout of his house? Like, why does he need the map? Like, he knows what he's gonna do.
And I'm just like, yo, like, let the movie.
Yeah,
There's
that's just what
certain,
they're
like,
saying.
I don't know. Like,
elements of
I would always
movies.
plan stuff out. Like, I think one of my friends, when I was like 10 years old, made fun of me when I made a list of something and I wrote "list" at the top of the list.
List.
And they're like, like, why do you need to write "list"? I'm
I've
like,
got a
You know
funny
you
one of
do.
that. I was telling Pat about it the other week how I would make fun. I would tell Zach, I'm like, why are you making a shot list? We don't need shot lists when we're making movies. What is this nonsense? We're artists here. And then I made a short film and it went to hell and it was like 4 a.m. and I'm like, I should have made a shot list.
You need that shot list, man. You need that shot list.
everything that he's setting up, he could have killed these dudes. Like, for real.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Kevin
the
is
nail.
a psychopath. He is a psychopath.
The third act of this movie is like straight up just, you know, it is meant to be Stooges.
Kevin is a psycho. He is a
Die
psycho.
Hard? Die Hard in a
This
house.
This is R-rated.
My
This is
favorite-
Die Hard in a House, and that was one of the arguments for Zach. He was like, "Okay, if we're gonna do a Christmas movie for 2023, it's gonna be The Holdovers. It's not gonna be Home Alone because we just did Die
My
Hard,
favorite,
and this is Die Hard in a House."
When they break in, my favorite sequence is Daniel Stern when he comes into the window and he hit the Arnold Lawrence on the ground. But the way he just comes in and slams his feet down for no reason,
It is horrifying.
it gets me
legitimately
every
horrifying.
single time. Like, why does he just go boom? Yeah, the
I
more you
love
watch
that
this
he
movie,
has
you're
the
like, damn,
he has a
Kevin
glass
is
of the
psycho.
the milk.
The milk.
This is
yeah.
what's funny to me. I don't know about y'all, but my brother, growing up, pizza. He has milk with it. Everything he has milk with it. You
can't-
know.
Hmm.
I can't
mean,
have milk.
I
with
mean,
something
I
else.
drank milk. I drank milk.
I'm not
every,
talking about this
meal.
lactose nonsense of 2024, Marley. Okay.
I mean, he's going full lactose. He's got the mac and cheese and milk.
yeah,
I'd be on-
he
I'd be like, I
get
need to-
bubble gut tonight.
Is there a bathroom nearby?
Straight up.
Right
No,
there,
but I mean,
the fourth wall
I
right
still
there. This
love
is
milk.
it. Don't
I'm
get
not gonna
scared
lie.
now. Don't get
Yeah.
like breaking the fourth wall there. This is it. Don't get scared now.
the shadows are beautiful every time at that door. You have beautiful shadows in this movie, actually.
It's saying all.
Okay, am I wrong to say this? But Daniel is out acting Pesci in this movie.
I think Pesci's better in 2
That's
than
true.
he is in this
No,
one.
no,
Because I think
100%.
I think
because he's actually
like
trying.
you said, yeah.
He's
Because I think this
actually
one he just like I think he's just like I don't want to be here. Like it's basically what
Yeah,
they kind of implied that he just didn't want to be there at all.
yeah,
But I think in the second one he's a lot
He's
better in the
much
second
better.
one.
yeah.
Oh, Daniel Stern, I wouldn't say he's out acting him. I just think he's having
Actually
more
trying.
fun than Joe Pesci. Yeah.
yeah.
I like the shot. The shot. Smile.
So
they said
that
that-
shot of the bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
They said in the commentary that like the shot of the BB, like they had a guy like they took the frames out and he just painted over them for like $600. The actual shot of the BB.
Bro was just living in his mom's basement.
And he said they were like $600. He did it for us for $600. Little shot of the BB, painted it on the actual film.
So they would essentially just slide him money wherever they could to just make VFX shots
I think
for the movie.
I think he did the VFX of the bubbles overhead, like when Kevin was at the counter and his family was like, "Kevin, you're such a disease." Like he did those as well for them.
Pat, you're 32, right? not trying to date you,
Yeah.
but like
I'm
if we
32.
fell
I'm
on, on
92,
those
baby.
steps, when we fell on those steps, we're done for the count. We were just like, we're
Oh, have
call
y'all
the
ever fallen on
ambulance.
steps before?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
brutal.
I've fallen down the steps.
So, when I was in high school, I was running down the stairs to get to the bus, and I had socks on, and socks versus carpet and friction, no friction.
Mm,
I fell and I slammed my back on like 4 steps, and I literally thought I was gonna die. It was that
dude.
bad, and at that point, I'd probably broken my ankle. I had fractured 2 feet or 2 fingers.
Back pain is no joke.
And then I literally doom 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 doom, and I was yelling. I woke up my parents and everything. It was a whole situation. And then like I came back to reality 3 seconds later. I was like, oh, never mind. I'll get to the bus. My bad.
How
And
did
this
he not
little,
know that the steps were icy though? Because you could see
Yeah.
icicles on it. It's like,
No, but if
This
it's
little-
black ice,
Go
you can't
around
see
it.
it.
this beat right here, where
Have y'all seen the black
When he-
ice
when he-
thing from Key and
when he
Peele? I'm
opens the
making a
door,
joke, okay?
yeah, this beat when he opens the door, like he's trying to break in. This was Daniel Stern's idea. It's like, what if the door was just unlocked the whole time? Like, just. Oh. Okay. That's why he's just like, what if it was just unlocked the
has
whole
to be
time?
a
You're like,
set,
yes, that's good.
actually,
You do that.
Because
do
he
that.
literally broke the frame.
I like
Yeah.
his stance, the wide stance as he opens the door.
No, but
That's the
Vikash, you're
thing.
right. Like, it's like he kind of, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say he's out acting, but it's like he's definitely more there
like,
than Joe Pesci.
The swagger of the villain,
Yeah.
you know, like he's got like, you know, he's just like, you know, he's got his shoulders up there. He's like I'm
Yeah.
this man. I got this energy, you know.
It's like, honestly, like you're always rooting for Marv. Like,
Oh my god. Oh. And see, that's the thing about this movie. The brutality of it is genius.
break the fourth
Yes,
wall.
yes.
It makes no sense, but it's fantastic.
The best
But
is
see,
in the
that's the
second
thing.
one. They
There,
have the same
looking
shot
at
in
the
the second
camera,
one.
it's
there.
like it's almost a reminder. Like you might make this movie count as PG-13 today, but I think those shots, those moments where it's like it's a bit tongue in cheek with your
Would
audience.
it be PG-13
You're-
today?
Probably.
I don't think so.
Here's your Raiders
uh,
reference.
Yeah,
Here's your Raiders reference.
I just think
But
I don't know.
I think the MPAA, you know, they gotta, you know,
I think they give it a PG-13, right? They I think they had problems. I think the MPA said this is kind of violent for a kid.
this shot right here would make it R
at the
rated.
end, yeah.
Yeah, right there. That's kind of graphic. But I
But
think
it's like
the way
that's the whole
the
point.
way
I
how
think-
cartoonish it is, how cartoon
Yeah.
like because like with the
Yes.
whole steam of him putting his hand in there and you see the steam. Like
Yeah.
I like in real life you probably would see steam a little bit, but it wouldn't be that dramatic. I,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
y'all seen A Quiet Place, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, one of the most
that-
horrifying
is it-
things I've ever seen in my
Tetanus.
life
reference
is
Straight up
reference in Home
tetanus.
Alone.
is a pregnant Emily Blunt. When she has, you know, the whole situation is like one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my life. Is that whole sequence when it's just her and that monster in the house in A Quiet Place, and when she hits that nail, you talk about setting up and knocking down the pins. This is also CG, I think,
Yeah.
but still, like Emily Blunt in that scene, it horrifies me. Y'all heard that was a real reaction of me to that nail.
Yeah.
I think that's what horrifies me. You don't have to show it, but like it's the
Yeah.
little things where you know that you feel it in your bones. I don't know if y'all have ever stepped on anything. I've stepped on stuff to where like it took like weeks to heal. You know,
Mhm.
I had something metal like puncture my foot and it was terrible. I gotta send you a photo of my foot later. Not on some Tarantino stuff, just I'll send you all a photo of my foot.
Yeah. We get it for free, Vikash? Not the
Bro,
OnlyFans?
yes. Guys, I'm starting my OnlyFans.
Only fan.
Only feet. I'm gonna put them on Feet Finder.
Only feet. Only feet.
Y'all even know what Feet Finder is? Never been on there, but I've heard of Feet Finder. Apparently, people look up people's feet. People's feet. Okay, there we go. I was doing a
So some
improper
cultural appropriation with the
pluralization.
iron. It looks kind of native a little bit. It's...
Jesus.
With the
He's
face-
indigenous.
Ugh.
I never noticed. He
I
has
didn't,
a,
I didn't
a
mean
wedding-
that insensitive. I was
He has
Words,
a,
yeah.
a wedding ring on. Joe Pesci's character.
Who? What do you
Joe
call
Pesci's
it?
character. He's a wedding
oh.
ring on.
I mean, she probably left.
This right here. This right here. The way he just slams his feet down. Like, I'm in.
Yet again, another tension, right?
Yeah.
A Die Hard reference right here.
I'm gonna kill that kid. I mean, even the second one, they have that same shot of like the iron falling down, but it's like the flower. Or whatever.
Tarantino loves that shot right there.
And like, but he says it. He's like, "I'm gonna murder that kid." It's like I feel like that probably would get a PG-13 rating. Like, I'm gonna murder that kid. Like looking into the camera. Like,
yeah.
Like you said right there, I'm gonna kill that kid. Like, how do they not see the?
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally just you know,
everywhere.
Yeah.
that's the stunt double is just literally just eating it. That
yeah. How do they not see it?
God
Shout
bless
out
the
to the
stunt
stunt-
doubles. Yeah,
the whole stunt team on this movie is actually fantastic.
This is why they deserve an Oscar for this movie alone.
100%. Yet again, that's another shot, right?
Yep. This is a homoerotic scene where they're landing on top of each. Just get married, you two.
When's the wedding? The wedding was in jail, actually.
Yeah. That's his wedding ring. That's why.
The pictures hanging up on the wall. So they took those, like that was like pre-production.
Yeah.
Bro, Bell South. If you asked the kid today what Bell South was, they wouldn't even know what the heck
Finally,
Bell South is.
Bell Atlantic. Like, yeah.
We are 90 minutes into this movie, and he finally calls 911.
Call 911. Yeah.
Bro, I mean that's how useless the cops are. And I say that as a joke till I actually need the cops, and then I call the cops if they don't show up.
You don't need the cops. It's fine.
Let me call them. Let's see how long it takes.
Are you serious?
Here's your spider.
No. I just call him like, yo, how long is it gonna take? It's gonna take 20 minutes.
I've had
that scream is fantastic.
Which actually was ADR.
As a kid, this, well, even now to this day, like this scene gives me the willies because I remember, like, I had like a tarantula like crawling on my face as a kid, like when I was laying on my lawn, like and all of a sudden I just saw like a tarantula just like on my face, and that shot where you see like the underbelly of it, I'm just like, ugh.
But why? Why did you have a tarantula on your face?
I was just laying on my lawn. It was just all of a sudden it was just a wild tarantula, and just like,
oh geez, that's horrifying.
Yeah,
I've heard the stories of like Arizona and like scorpions, but never tarantula. Jeez. Did I get him? Bro, this movie's so good, man.
He hits him just
for the tarantula scene too. He couldn't like him. He didn't actually scream that loud because it would have like he didn't scream at all.
Daniel Stern did that.
No, because they thought it was gonna scare the tarantula and like maybe try and bite him. So he just mouthed the scream very loud, and they added an ADR.
But he did put that thing on his face.
He put it on his face, but he didn't actually scream. He just mouthed the scream because the spider. It would have scared this. It would have scared the spider that they were afraid of.
I would have never done that. That's why I can't be an actor. There's certain things I could never do. You know that whole thing with the cats.
I think he said I'll do it once. He said I'll do it once, so that's why they put it on his face.
Never
once,
do any of that.
Like,
I love this that they burned the top of his hat off, and I don't think that Pesci's bald. But they essentially just put a prosthetic on his head and they cover it with the hat. It's genius.
I think the hat is part of it. I think they said like Chris Columbus has that like prop still.
Oh, okay.
It's like part of it. So he just puts it on his head.
But that's the genius part. Nowadays, I mean, like, it's like you have to put the elements of the story together. I think Chris Columbus talks about it maybe like 15 or 30 times during the during the commentary for Home Alone where they're like, oh, when we were rewriting the movie, we did this. When he wrote the movie, there's this. You know, like he's talking about it constantly how they were changing things in this movie. Not obviously when in production, but from like where Hughes started to where they got with the movie. And it's not like anybody else has a writing credit. I don't think anyone has a writing credit besides John Hughes. But it's like the little differences that they made in the script definitely mattered. I love to see. Okay, you know,
Joe
but you
Pesci
see
just lame. Yeah.
the shot length of those reactions, they wouldn't have that anymore. I have a very big like complaint with the editing nowadays, where it's like it feels like they cut away a couple like a millisecond or two like a half a second too fast, for my opinion nowadays. Like they don't let some shots sit enough anymore.
If they had lingered like that now, it would like, especially watching this like right now, like today, like those two guys would be a gay couple. Like I'm surprised they didn't, like they would be married. Like the Wet Bandits would totally be like they would be married, and I'm just like
Daniel is such a bottom. I mean, this is horrifying. This is actually a great setup and payoff right here, though. For real, though.
They outsmarted him.
See, now if this was a different movie, they would have kicked him right down the stairs. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
If I'm directing the movie, bro's getting kicked down the stairs.
And like I like how we were mentioning like the entire time, it's like the way the camera is like angled, it's the kind of like, so he's looking up when he's hanging on the door, it's like he's level with like everyone now, like the camera is level with like all the adults.
Yeah.
Then I come to save the day.
Marley for the win.
See?
Who's the MVP? Marley. Look at these Christmas.
I honestly forgot that his name was Marley.
I mean, I think same thing with Pat.
This is kind of a perfect episode for me to be on.
Yeah, perfect. Literally, the christening. He's admiring his work.
Yeah. Each and every house you hit. Good job.
Cops out here trying to put up the charges. They trumpet up these charges, man.
See, if this movie were made today, those cops would have just shot.
Probably, yeah.
Shot like 10 rounds into the house.
Without even going inside.
They've got a gun! Did you hear the running water? Keep the change, you filthy animals. They're the ones saying
that smile. That smile from Macaulay Culkin right there.
Yo, look at that! Look at that light inside the car.
The light underneath him.
Yeah.
The wave.
Yeah.
Now he looking like Marlon Brando right there, real quick.
This movie's good. Like
it's great.
Good.
It's a 5-star movie.
This movie's
5-star movie.
Fantastic.
There's a glass of milk again.
Yeah.
Bro, this is some milk propaganda right here.
Big milk funding.
Yeah.
Y'all lucky I don't have milk in my house right now. I literally would have gone and got a couple
Drinks of milk.
I love some cold milk. I ain't gonna lie.
I can't stand cold milk.
A glass of cold milk.
My parents love warm milk. It's like a thing in our culture to have warm milk, but
I used to have warm milk it would help me go to sleep when I was a kid. That's pretty much the only time I ever had warm milk. And then cold milk I only like drank with like Oreos and then obviously like with cereal, but I can't have milk like on its own. I can't.
No, I can. But that's just the brownness of me. It's a very Indian thing.
Mom of the year. Just hitching a ride in the back of a U-Haul.
I think Columbus said this is 5:30 in the morning. And I think doing this. And it's just
improv this entire
candy.
Yeah. Improv the entire scene.
Both of them. But obviously it's Candy doing it.
Mhm.
He's the one who's leading the improvisation. And that's the thing. Surprise, surprise. Maybe if y'all left these shots a little bit longer and just let the
Yeah.
actors act, maybe y'all
Let 'em
can get this
go.
stuff done
Yeah.
faster. And it's beautiful. It's intimate. It's
I feel
funny.
like
It's touching. It's everything.
I feel like you have that now, but now it's like it's more like an SNL sketch because people are just riffing. There's a there's a
I'm not
difference
talking about
between
just
the
the
improv.
improvisation itself. I'm talking about like the filmmaking itself
Hmm.
too,
Yeah.
with the shot lengths and it's like not every shot, not every scene needs, you don't need to shoot out the whole thing. You don't need coverage. Like have the gall and the confidence to just do it.
Judd Apatow has
One
ruined
shot.
comedies today, so
Yeah.
This score right here.
I love it. We I,
You want to talk about a score that has heart? I think if you talk about all the scores that John Williams has done his entire career, maybe it's this and maybe a little bit of the Harry Potter work where like you
mhm.
feel the heart the most. And
Mhm.
now I've got to text Tasha and ask her because I got to tell you all about her later. She's fantastic. She's like the
Did
biggest John Williams fan,
did John
and
Williams do the score for Mrs. Doubtfire? Did he work
I
with
don't think
Christopher
so.
Columbus on that?
Columbus did that
I
one too,
don't
right?
think
That's
so.
another
Yeah.
great one, man. I
Hmm.
love that movie.
I
Me
feel like that
like
should be the next episode.
God forbid you hear me talking to my dad about John Williams or me talking to Zach about John Williams. Or not John Williams, Robin Williams. Bro, forget about it. Like, got nothing but love for Robin Williams. Same thing for John Williams, honestly. Got nothing but love for him too. Kevin! 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 Just the way she like yells his name. Like she has this beautiful, like, authoritarian vibe to her, but like she also has that heart.
I, I like that
And this is
smile too
okay.
from Catherine O'Hara because it's like,
This is
oh, he
the
may have been all by
Mhm.
himself,
But
but
this is
he
what
still
you
cared
talk
enough
about,
to.
like, yeah, exactly. This is the
Yeah.
epic earned catharsis of the movie, right? That they get back to each other. But it's even better in the second one.
Well, it's an honest reaction here too, from anger to like you left me alone, to then
left me alone,
to then
Mom.
oh, and to then oh, mom.
He's got such a cute smile, man. I think Kieran Culkin uses his cuteness in like almost a diabolical way nowadays, where it's like
Mhm.
he's so like he's got this energy to him where you love him, but you also see where he can play a very flawed individual. I haven't seen the real pain yet, but I assume he's got that vibe
You
going
need
on
to.
in that. Comes out the 31st, so I will watch it then. Sadly, never came to theaters here.
Like you mentioned, like, oh, the family
4 minutes
shows up
later.
just yeah,
Uh,
right on time, Christmas
yeah, it's just the
morning.
point. The mom will do anything to get back to her child.
I didn't mention this, but that's the most '90s haircut ever. It was just like the
Yeah.
just the,
Parted up in the front. Yeah.
yeah. I
Milk
also didn't
again.
mention this either, but I,
They
Milk
all look
again.
okay.
this movie has
So,
nice coats. Like
oh yeah,
Mhm.
I love the coats that everyone has.
John
to wear.
Hurt's character
Like,
was doing well for himself. I think we all can agree on that, right?
Oh yeah, he was making bank.
Yeah.
That was
I think
originally
it's
the
funny.
last line of the original script was just hung around, and they were
Oh,
supposed to be a freeze
interesting.
frame and end right there.
Mhm.
So that's why this Marley character was definitely an addition. It was not in the first draft, which this is a way better ending.
100%. And it drives home the message of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Said nobody wants to be
Familia.
alone. I love this little like he does with like with his lips, like a he like moves his lips like he's like feeling his teeth
Mhm.
Yeah.
right there. Like it's just a
Yeah,
little like
Yeah.
It's great acting, man.
damn.
Everyone's together on Christmas.
That's some good-looking fake snow.
Right.
Bro, I'm about to start crying. I'm not lying. I'm about to start crying. That's a
When he looks at him, and he does the wave. This is the heart of the movie right here. Thanks, Kevin.
God forbid you have a genuinely heartwarming movie.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Then
And
you-
listen
then
to
you
the
get the line.
score.
Then you
Listen
get the
to John
score
Williams.
swelling
Yeah.
up.
This is perfection.
Cinema.
this is cinema.
This is cinema. And the line. Oh shit! I forgot about Buzz's room.
Don't worry, he's got a girlfriend.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.